Hello everyone, welcome to another video by IGCSE Passion. For the day, we will be explaining a new lesson in biology. It is the easiest one. It is chapter 13, excretion in a human. Without further ado, let's start with our lesson, but don't forget to subscribe so that you can support me to proceed with what I'm doing right now. So the content of our video for today is the whole parts in the syllabus. If you can't find it, then just search it on a search engine and you can find it easily. Just write the code of the subject and beside it the syllabus of the year that you'll be performing in. So for instance, if you are performing in 2023, then just write, for instance, 0610 biology syllabus 2023 and it will give you it immediately. So these are the 9 points only. They're not that much as the other lessons that I taught earlier in my channel. If you didn't check them out, then do so that you can help me. So let's start with our very first point. Now, there are some substances in your body that are produced or they would enter into your body and it can be toxic. So, what does the body do to protect itself from dying or putting itself in danger? Is by excreting it or letting it exit out of your body. And the first thing that you need to know is carbon dioxide or CO2 is excreted by your lungs. So you breathe in air, which is O2, you would use it, and your body would use this O2 that will then make CO2, and the CO2 cannot stay because it is toxic. So what does the lung do? It would excrete it out of your body. Moving on, excess water, ions, and urea is excreted by kidneys. So kidneys are down in your abdomen. So what do they do? Urea, excess water, excess ions, all of that would be excreted by kidneys. Moving on, we need to know the parts of your excretory system. Now, they're not that much, they're only four, not like the alimentary canal. So, starting with your kidneys, I'm going to use as usual my favorite highlighter. I'm going to use, let's say, red. So, these two heart shaped, let's say, or bean shaped organ is kidneys. And then the yellow tubes that are going out of your kidneys is known as the ureter. Ureter are more like your esophagus. Its job is to transport stuff down from an organ down to another organ. And the job of the ureter is transporting from the kidneys to your bladder. Bladder is more like a storage bag. It is just like a bag. It stores something in there that we will discuss later during our PowerPoint for the day. And lastly, how can it exit your body is by urethra. Now, if you're a core, then congratulations, you're done with this lesson right now. If you're not, then let's proceed with the lesson. So, moving on, now I found that this picture in the internet, but you can find like better ones, but I prefer this one. So forget about this part, we're gonna explain it later on. But this one, we're going to talk about the parts or the cross section of your kidneys. So, your kidney is made with the very outer, which is cortex. Then you have, wait, let me just use yellow as it's brighter than red. So, this circular like shape inside your kidney is known as medulla that contains a very important part, which is nephron, that is basically doing the job of the kidney. But we're not going to explain it right now. We're going to explain it in the upcoming slide. And then we have the ureter, but the part of the ureter that is inside your kidney is known as pelvis. But for some reasons, it is not written in this photo, and I forgot to add it, and I'm sorry for that. But it is known as pelvis. Just a second. And we need to know uh, the blood vessels that are inside your kidneys, which are two. One that brings the blood from the heart into your kidney, and one receives the blood from your kidney back to your heart. Now, what do we call them? We call them renal artery and renal vein. Now, the one that gets the blood away from your heart into your kidney is known as artery, renal artery, and the one that receives the blood from your kidney back to your heart is known as renal vein. Moving on, as I said, we're going to explain nephron in details. Now, nephron is made up of several parts. Now, this, wait, let me just use another, let's say pen. So, this weird looking thing is known as a glomer, glomerulosis. Sorry for not knowing how to say this word, as it's a bit complicated, but I prefer to tell you that you should know how to spell it at least very close to this shape, as sometimes IGCSE would uh, look for your spelling and to check whether you know how to write the word or not, because sometimes spelling can really affect the meaning of what you're saying. So glomerulosis is this, let's say, tube that is inside your nephron, where it contains very tiny holes. These tiny holes would filter the blood. So the job of glomerulosis is filtration from blood of water, glucose, urea, and ions. So it is very tiny holes that allow it to escape from your blood. But there's a thing. It does not filter everything. There is a thing that cannot pass through these tiny holes, which is protein. So amino acids are very large to escape from the tiny holes. So it stays in and would escape with the blood for another place. So as you can see, the blood, when it enters from here, it would be filtered, or let's say it would escape from the hole, and the ones that couldn't escape would go back to another place that we will talk about later on. Then you need to know that the rest of the nephron here, right here, so here, especially here, sorry, I'm trying just to draw an efficient arrow. So the job right here is to reabsorb glucose all of the glucose, put in mind, not some of the glucose, all of it, some of ions, and most of the water back into your blood. Formation of urine contains all of urea, excess water, and excess ions. Now, that is all you need to know about your nephron. Then we're going to talk about the part that we talked about earlier. We said that there are some stuff that cannot be, that it cannot escape from the glomerulosis holes. So where does it go? It would go to the liver. Now, we said that the amino acids are too large to escape from the hole. So it goes to the liver, something known as dissemination of amino acid, which is converting them into. Wait, sorry. We're going to talk about the elimination later on, but right now the assimilation of amino acid, how by converting it into a protein, like it is the larger uh, unit of amino acids, like they combine several amino acids, so we can have protein. And another thing is that urea is formed in the liver. It's not formed in your kidneys, it is formed in your liver. How is urea formed? It is formed by removing excess amino acids. So urea is made up of excess amino acids, and when you bring urea and the excess stuff that we said about, we talked about earlier in your kidney, which is excess water and excess ions, we will have urine. So there's a difference between urea and urine. Urea is made in your liver, made up of excess amino acids. Urine is made up of everything, everything that needs to be exerted. to your excretory system. Now, as we said, there is something known as elimination, which is different than assimilation, which is the removal of nitrogen containing part of your amino acid. Why? To form urea. Now, we said that there's urea in the thing, and how does it form? It is by removing nitrogen containing part of your excess amino acids to make it. Why do we need to excrete? Some waste product can be toxic. Okay, one example of that is the urea, which is the excess amino acid. Urea is not normally harmless unless its concentration in the blood is too high. Example for that, if the kidney fails to excrete it. Now, you're lucky because like the kidney fail thing and how is it solved is not into your syllabus. They removed it earlier. So if you saw any question about kidney fail or how can you solve kidney fail problem, then skip the question as it is out of your syllabus. In which case, in which case it starts to be converted to ammonia. Ammonia is very toxic. It's a strong toxic alkali. NH3. Wait, let me just write that. NH3. Okay? And that's all for the day. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe again and see you in the upcoming video.